My whole family rented. I thought buying was for other people until I saw the 30-year math. I was sitting at my cousin's kitchen table when my tia said, "Mijo, when are you going to buy your house? That's how you know you made it." Everyone nodded. My uncle, my dad, my older cousin who just bought his place. They all agreed. Buying proves you're doing well. I looked around that table and realized something that made my stomach drop. Not one person sitting there, including my cousin who just signed his mortgage papers, had actually run the full numbers. They knew the monthly payment, that was it. They didn't know what happens in year 5, year 10, or what that decision actually costs over 20 years. And I was about to make the same choice they did, based on the same incomplete math. Most people compare renting and buying by looking at one number, the first monthly payment. But that number tells you almost nothing about which decision actually builds wealth for your family. By the end of this video, you'll know how to run the real comparison. Time horizon, rent increases, mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, repairs, closing costs, equity growth, and whether you'll actually invest the difference if you rent. Because one path can move you toward a paid-off home. The other can keep you paying higher housing costs when your family needs stability the most. Let's set this up fair, using example numbers so you can see the math. Two friends, same city, same income, same savings. Javier and Marco both earn $4,200 a month after taxes. Both have saved $48,000. Both need a 3-bedroom place near work. In this example, Marco buys a home for $240,000, puts down 20%, $48,000, and gets a 30-year mortgage at 7% interest. His monthly payment for principal and interest is about $1,280. Add estimated property taxes, $200 a month, homeowner's insurance, $100 a month, and a maintenance reserve, 1% of home value per year, about $200 a month. Marco's total monthly housing cost is around $1,780 before any surprise repairs. Javier rents a comparable place for $1,500 a month. He keeps his $48,000 and invests it in an index fund using an 8% annual return assumption. His only housing costs are rent and renter's insurance, $25 a month. On paper, Javier saves $255 a month compared to Marco's total housing cost. But here's what almost no one tells you about those first few years. Most of Marco's mortgage payment isn't building equity, it's paying the bank. In year 1, Marco pays about $15,360 in mortgage payments. Of that, roughly $13,100 goes to interest. Only $2,260 actually reduces what he owes. That interest disappears just like rent, except nobody calls it that. So if Marco's paying interest that vanishes, and Javier is paying rent that vanishes, what's the actual difference in the first 3 years? And more important, when does that difference flip? Let's run this example through year 3, then year 10, then all the way to 30. Year 3, Javier has paid about $54,000 in rent. His $48,000 investment has grown to roughly $60,500. Marco has spent about $70,000 total. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, closing costs of $7,200, and maintenance. He's paid down only about $7,200 in actual principal. His home, assuming 3% annual appreciation in this example, is now worth about $262,000. Marco's net equity is $262,000 minus $233,000 owed, so about $29,000. Javier's net position is $60,500 in investments minus $54,000 spent, so $6,500 ahead. At year 3, Javier looks smarter, but watch what happens next. Year 10. Javier's rent started at $1,500. If rent increases 4% a year in your local market, he's now paying about $2,130 a month. Over 10 years, he's paid about $199,000 in rent. His investment, untouched, has grown to about $104,000. Marco's mortgage payment stayed locked at $1,280. His total spend over 10 years is about $258,000. His home is now worth roughly $322,000. He owes $207,000. His equity is $115,000. In this example, Marco has $11,000 more in net wealth than Javier, and the gap is about to grow. Here's why. Marco's payment never changes. Javier's rent keeps rising. By year 15, Javier is paying $2,590 a month. By year 20, $3,150. By year 30, $4,670 a month. Marco, still paying $1,280 in mortgage, plus taxes and insurance that can rise over time. And here's the leverage part that changes everything. Marco's 3% appreciation doesn't apply to his $48,000 down payment. It applies to the full $240,000 home value. That's appreciation on money the bank lent him. Javier's 8% return only applies to the money he actually invested. No leverage, no multiplier. Year 30. Marco makes his final mortgage payment. His home, worth about $582,000 in this example, is fully paid off. His monthly housing cost drops to property taxes and insurance, maybe around $400 in this model. Javier is paying $4,670 in rent every month, forever. His investment, if he never touched it, is worth about $481,000, but his rent will keep rising into retirement, eating into savings he'll need to cover it. The total spent over 30 years in this example. Javier paid roughly $1,150,000 in rent and owns nothing. Marco paid about $708,000 in mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, and owns a $582,000 asset free and clear. The exact winner can change in your city, but now you can see why the first monthly payment is not enough. That's the flip. In this example, it happens somewhere between year 7 and year 10. In your city, it could be earlier, later, or not at all. The point is not that renting is bad. The point is that rent can keep rising and never builds toward a finish line. But I haven't told you the most important part yet. The one thing that decides whether buying actually makes sense for you or whether renting is the smarter move. It's not about the monthly payment, it's about your timeline. If you're staying only a few years, buying can lose because closing costs, realtor fees, and early mortgage interest eat up the benefit. Your break-even point depends on your city, your rate, your taxes, your repairs, and how long you actually stay. If you're staying longer and you can afford the down payment without draining your emergency fund, buying can start to win. But only if you're honest about one more thing. If you rent, will you actually invest the difference every single month for 10 years without touching it? Because most people won't. The rent and invest strategy is brilliant on paper and hard to execute in real life. Life happens. Car repairs happen. Medical bills happen. The difference gets spent, not invested. And when that happens, you're paying rising rent with nothing to show for it. That's the real cost. Run your own numbers. Your city, your rent, your mortgage rate, your timeline. Don't let family pressure or internet opinions make this decision for you. The math will tell you the truth. Watch one of these two next. I'll see you there.